Reading is the key to unlocking the world for these students. You know, we've seen kids all of a sudden they recognize that you string sounds together and all of a sudden you've created a word, and you string words together and you've created a sentence when they crack the code about how to read.
The Beat the Odds study is the most exciting work that I do. This time we looked at kindergarten teachers who beat the odds, and the data led me to Emily.
It's interesting to be singled out. I think it's a huge honor. I think that there's a lot of support that goes along with it. It's definitely not just me that deserves the credit.
Emily's test score growth was 6 scale score units higher than the average for kindergarten. This suggests that students are making approximately a half a year extra growth in a year's amount of time. Well, that school that has over 4 points greater growth than expected is Indian Mounds.
We have seen an amazing growth with our kids, and so this staff has to have a large toolkit, and we pay a lot of attention to training our paraprofessionals.
Learning to read is a really complex skill. There's so many things that go into learning to read. Even before students encounter print, they need to have a really solid understanding of phonological awareness and how we can manipulate oral language. So students need to have skills in rhyming, segmenting words into syllables, manipulating the beginnings and endings of words. Then when they encounter print, they have to learn a variety of word recognition strategies. They have to learn rules about how language works, including phonics. And they also have to develop automaticity in their reading so that they can be fluent enough to comprehend what they read.
The research literature shows that early literacy growth is the most important factor in a student's ultimate success in school. So if a student isn't reading well by 3rd grade, their probability of being successful in graduation, in post-secondary, is quite limited.
Many of our students come here with a lot of challenges, and there are many risk factors that affect their education here.
We have a high level of poverty. Our free and reduced lunch numbers fluctuate, but are trending upwards between 70 and 75% of our students.
So the Beat the Odds model isolates the instructional factor, separates it from the demographic factors of students. In our study, we controlled for a number of different risk factors, including students receiving special education service, students receiving English language learner services, poverty as defined by receiving free or reduced price lunch. We also compared gender, we controlled for gender, and then racial ethnic status.
Well, the whole concept of grit has been around for a while. This concept of grit, this concept of these are our kids, and if not us, then who? And so the staff here, they've embraced that, and they refer to themselves as gritty educators. We're just a group of people who we come in here, we know there's a job to be done, and we roll up our sleeves and we do it.
Emily puts a lot of value on the role of diagnostic assessment. She assesses students in multiple ways to really hone in on what their needs are as well as their strengths.
Each week, we're doing a quick 10-question progress monitoring assessment on every student to make sure that they're making progress with whatever intervention we're doing. We use all of the progress monitoring data that we gather to make a graph of where each student is at on each reading skill. So as long as they are making progress, we keep them in that intervention. If they're scoring 8 out of 10 or higher for 3 consistent weeks in a row, then we move them on to that next skill. At about 6 or 8 weeks, we all meet together again and reform groups as needed and hopefully move students through to the next skill.
And that's how she runs her classroom. She looks at every student, she analyzes their needs, and then she builds a program. She's a deep thinker about her kids.
The fact that we have Beat the Odds teachers in Bloomington that are producing exceptional rates of growth for students who are typically not predicted to be good readers really sets the stage for future success for these students as they move up through the grades.